You know guys, before I get into anything in this video, I just need to make a quick disclaimer. The things that I will be saying in this video, they're gonna be very problematic, alright? That's just what the nature of this video is about to be. So if you're not here for it, if you really cannot handle somebody saying you suck, or talking about your status as a human being, if those sort of topics fluster you, I don't think this is the best video for you, alright? I'm just gonna be straight up. This video has been concocted in my brain for the last like 4 or 5 years, and just now, until the point that Activision has just now talked about skill-based matchmaking, do I really feel like I can verbalize the things that have just been brewing in my brain. You guys know there is a very large population of this community that is protected by Daddy Activision. You know, there's a very specific group of people that, in my opinion, have unknowingly and unintentionally contributed to the downfall of Call of Duty. And we hear this topic discussed all the time by developers and other content creators and people who try to defend SBMM. Oh, the sweats, this and that, and how the bad players or the new players, they need to be catered to. People who are considered sweats or people who are above average at the game, we are just in the minority. We are in the top 10%, 5%, 1%. And a lot of people run their mouths about how this is the actual population of the community that ruins COD, but in today's video, I want to discuss the reverse to that claim. Guys, bad players, the bottom 80 to 90% of the community playing COD, you are the people that are ruining Call of Duty. It's the fact that you are unknowingly so god-awful at COD that these developers find it necessary to hold your hand through every single little action you do in this game. Now, in my last video, we talked about Activision's truly horrific report on skill-based matchmaking. And everybody with half a brain and half a working mind, we could all simply see through that. And yet, there are still some people in this community that just don't understand that because of their unwillingness to get better at the game, it is actually to the detriment of Call of Duty. Now, you can throw whatever statistic you want, whatever graph you want. Activision has already proven to me that they have no idea how to actually run a test in COD, at least not a working one, because while they want to throw out this whole, oh, we tested on 50% of the population, and we found that only the top 1% stayed in the games longer and actually played more. Well, that's simply because for the last 5 years, you have conditioned your player base to playing with training wheels, to playing with a handicap, alright? You have given these players the equivalent of Stephen Hawking, and I don't mean his brain, because that's a smart man, aside from some of the decisions that he was making. I don't know how he was able to physically do it, but I mean in terms of his little, I don't even know what it's called, his little rocket ship chair thing that speaks. Whatever was going on with that thing, your player base is now using that, and they are accustomed to it. So now that you have them walking amongst all regular people, now they can't keep up. Now they feel like they're out of place, and they leave the game. These are not my words. So before you shitters get upset with the Scatmaster, understand that it was Activision's own test. The one that I am denouncing. The one that everybody wants to deem as valid. If we are to deem it as valid, then understand this. They are saying that you guys who have been protected for the last 4 or 5 years, you guys are the ones that are leaving the games. And because of your guys' unwillingness to adapt and learn the game without Infinity Ward's disgusting, god-awful multiplayer mechanics of being handicapped your entire life, now it negatively affects the rest of the community. And yes, you can make the claim, oh, top 10%, you guys are in the minority, you're actually the vocal minority. Let me remind you that it is the vocal minority that gets majority of these changes that you see in COD to actually go through. Because unlike a lot of these cowards, you know, the people that are backing out of games because they're getting smoked by people that actually have working thumbs, when there's an issue in COD, we actually talk about it. We actually get the developers to address it. If we just bowed our heads down and just allowed Activision to give us backies, do you know what would be of this game? Unknowingly, at the same time, we are also doing your job. As the bottom 90% of this community, you guys suck so goddamn bad that anytime we make a video about skill-based matchmaking, the very first thing out of your guys' worthless mouths is skill issue. My last video was literally about how Activision doesn't even care about what the bottom population is feeling. It's more about protecting them so that they spend more money in the game. And what people got from that video, of course, it's the people that leave these games early because they're getting smoked. It's the people with the lowest attention span. It's the people in the back of the class going, "Dah!" Yeah, those things. Alright, I don't even consider them humans. They're the ones that come up with these responses. Keep crying, womp womp skill issue. Guys, hold on. What is womp womp? Alright, I keep seeing this. That sounds like the noises that your mother's ass cheek makes when I'm giving her dusty back shots. You understand? That's the noise that's coming out. Womp womp. But you understand that these are the people that you simply cannot have respect for. Alright? If you give them an inch of respect, some way, somehow, they take a mile. And that's probably as far as they're able to take it because they're so goddamn awful at everything. These fat asses probably can't go further than a mile. You guys can't stick in games long enough because you suck. Alright? If Activision is making these little tests, which again, I don't think are valid, but if you are to say they're valid, then just understand that because you guys have had your hands held for so long, and you can't actually get better at the game, it is your fault that skill-based matchmaking remains in the way that it is. They won't even consider creating a playlist without skill-based matchmaking or with reduced skill-based matchmaking because you guys cry so goddamn much about getting stomped by people who are better than you. Understand the difference. When the upper 10% is annoyed that they're only going against the other top 10%, we get told it's a skill issue. When the bottom 90% has to go against damn near one person from the top 10%, all of a sudden we gotta cater to this shitter. Why? I don't believe these people that are commenting these things. I don't believe the people that are holding Activision back and holding the rest of the community back. I don't believe these people deserve human rights. If you aren't willing to adapt and get better and go through adversity and push through it yourself without getting your hand held, I don't believe you deserve human rights. What are you gonna call me? A Nazi? Is that what you're gonna go with? Scatmaster thinks you suck and all of a sudden he's a Nazi? Is that what we're doing? See, a lot of these skillless virgins, they're so bad at the game, they don't even understand the way that COD used to be. Prior to MW 2019, the worst gaming experience in Call of Duty multiplayer history, we actually had team balancing as our form of skill-based matchmaking. It did not exist in the same way that it exists today. If you got into a lobby and somebody was smoking you, guess what? You kinda just took it until you got better. You didn't back out and leave the game and quit. You know why? Because you spent $60 on this game on a console. So best believe you're not just throwing that away. You're gonna stick on the game and you're gonna get better at it. And that's what pretty much everybody did. People who are exceptionally bad, in the future they see Korean Savage in their lobbies. It is what it is. We're not gonna talk about it. But to the rest of us who are able to excel, we end up sticking with the franchise throughout all of these years, through the jetpack era that so many people despised, through the first half of World War II, through Black Ops 4, and into the dark ages of COD, starting with MW 2019. And now, this group of people that have been your core audience, had it not been for this select group of people, Call of Duty would not have gone this far. That's just a fact. Because if we had the exact same mentality that some of these pissers have today, then the moment we started getting smoked, we would just quit the game and never play it again. But nope, we stood through it, we got better at the game, we became your core audience, we carried you up to this moment where you could reboot Modern Warfare and clickbait everybody, and it just so happens the moment you create this Battle Pass monetization system, with all these disgusting microtransactions, that's when you really want to start holding people's hands who are so bad that if they were to play against people of upper competition, they would simply quit. But by keeping them reeled in and holding their hands and letting them be Stephen Hawkings of the world, now they want to spend money in your shop and now they're going to stay a little bit longer because they actually think they're somewhat decent. But as your little test shows, the moment they got paired up with other people, dogged. These people got absolutely raw dogged and they left. And Activision took that as a threat because their core game, and just by design, it cannot carry the community forward. They need to keep the player retention inorganically. And the only way to do that is through SBMM. Keep the shitters happy, make your money, forget about the people who put you in this position in the first place, and that's what it's about. It's not about protecting the bad people. It's about exploiting them for money. And that's what these low IQ, brain-dead morons, I mean, these guys are literally copper. They're tinfoil, plastic ranked. These are the people not only spending the most money in the shop, these are the people who will inevitably have the better experience. And that is just completely backwards. If we're talking about actually caring about the community, you understand that this makes no sense. If we're talking about exploiting people for money, of course, Activision, I mean, these guys are pros at that. I mean, how many people within Activision are good at exploiting people? I mean, do I need to go any further on that? And guys, these points that I'm making, it's not just me, alright? People agree with me. People coming out here, so basically bad players couldn't cope that they had to get better at the game. And then people start crying in the comments. People start complaining, oh, it's the TTV sweats. Oh, it's all these nerds and these bunny hoppers and slide cancelers. Bro, I didn't design this game. If they want to make a mechanic that I can exploit, are the same ways that these developers create mechanics for all of these pissers in the back of the map with their monolithic suppressors mounted with anti-recoil 10 attachments, claymores everywhere, and sound whoring to the point where everybody just sounds like Lizzo hurtling towards them for a double triple decker quarter pounder from Mackey's. It's the same way those pissers exploit those mechanics, the same way I can utilize a bunny hop. And if you get smoked and you get put in the dirt, chances are, I look at your dead body, you got a furry skin, alright? And what's gonna happen? I'm gonna light you up. And as a result, some way, somehow, you benefit from the situation, and I get placed into a bracket where I experience nothing but pain, torture, and suffering. Because while you only get to go against one measly top 10% player, for you to be placed back into your bracket of Stephen Hawking's, the Scatmaster goes against nothing but the top 10%. Understand that. I am Crimson ranked, haven't played this game very much in the last few months, but nonetheless still top 3%. And no matter how many years I dedicated to COD, based off the mere fact that I don't suck balls at COD and spend money in the shop, that is the only reason why I'm still up in the top 3% going against the other top 3%. My experience never changes. Yours does. Look at your player base. 80% of pissers. What you need to do is get better. Literally, what is the point? What else do you people need? You need people to hold it while you piss? You need people to wipe for you? Is that what's going on too? At this point, you might as well. You can't shoot straight. You can't stick in the lobby for more than 10 minutes while there's somebody better than you in the lobby. You can't drop streaks on them. It's the same reason these deadbeat developers make it so that you can't loop streaks, because you suck so bad. Look at all of the detriments you create in COD. You negatively influence the matchmaking for everybody, not just yourself. You push these deadbeat developers and Activision and Bobby Cosby to over-prioritize monetization. It is because of you that so many people get accused of cheating simply because they're better than you. I understand that there's a lot of cheaters in this game, and we'll make a video about that in the future. But if the Scatmaster in his mid-20s, as a full-time student with a different job, who barely plays COD, if you're going to accuse me of cheating, that says something about you. You suck so bad that you're getting outclassed and outperformed by a 25-year-old commentator. Do you understand how bad you suck? All I do is talk. I barely play the game itself, I talk. And if I'm still better than you, you suck. No wonder you leave the game. Your life sucks. And Activision, you want to deprioritize the other 10% because we don't spend money in the shop? Understand something. Some of us don't want backshots. I understand with your company, it's a little bit of a different thing when people say no to you and we don't consent to certain things. I understand that's a difficult topic for some of these people at Activision, but please understand, if it were not for us, you would not be here today. You would not be in the position that you're in. You'd be having to create Ghost 3. You wouldn't be working on MW 2019 Part 3 and 4, and whatever is coming up next, Black Ops 6, Advanced Warfare 7. You'd be stuck working on Ghosts 3. Understand how the history of COD was forever changed? Not because of you greedy bastards at the top, it was because of your core audience who back in the day actually had to push through this adversity of getting better at the game and actually adapting and creating a skill gap for themselves. You guys have had your hand held this entire time. You were overprotected this whole time. Make no mistake, the minute you, Stephen Hawking's, get out of your wheelchair, let's see who can actually sprint the mile, tubby. I mean, seriously, Activision's been protecting you this long for the last 5 years, you still couldn't get better, and that's how a video like this gets created. You tell me what's a better experience, getting your hand held for 5 years by the pedophilic Activision, or getting humbled by the Scadmaster, you tell me. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. Do you think the bad players in COD have unknowingly became a reason as to why Call of Duty sucks nowadays? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos, and yeah guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles.
This ain't in my body.